Hello and welcome to DCP SideQuest, episode number 158. Welcome. What you guys laughing at?
Nothing.
Nothing, right?
There's nothing. Nope.
Nothing to laugh
That's
at.
actually an excellent Photoshop. It looked really good.
That's very good.
Yeah, I usually don't swipe memes too often, but when the golden meme hits, I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
I have to save that one. That's perfect.
We were talking a little bit about Twitter earlier. Man, it's just a complete. I've never seen so many people so upset, so mad, so mad. Like everybody, and every side of the argument is just like freaking out.
It's wild because it feels like we're actually witnessing the, like a online institution burned down.
Yeah.
It's if you could make all the worst decisions based on illogical conclusions, that is what's going on at Twitter right now.
Yeah. I mean,
Such
like,
as firing
that's fair.
people and then sending a message to everyone on the weekend saying, "Hey guys, so we might need
shit.
you guys back."
Actually.
I just want to say, like, even if you're a fan of everything that Elon does, like, you got to look at this and be like, there's some questionable things going on. Like, maybe not handle it that way. Not just use a hammer or look at everything as a nail with a hammer.
He's trolling. I don't think he's trolling. I think he's just like not socially, like he doesn't have that like that social kind of like butter that kind of lets you like glide through a crowd. I don't know what it is. It's like he just is.
He's
like that person
gravel.
that you know. Yeah, he's social gravel.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what makes him so good as a troll, though. Because he's social.
I don't think
gravel.
it's trolling though. I think he's being. He thinks he's being funny, and it's just not funny. It's like it's just not. I mean, it's funny.
It's funny to witness.
It's funny again.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, this isn't funny, but look, it's so funny to just see how like everybody's so fucking upsetty spaghetti about it.
Yeah.
It's just Twitter. Like, let it go. I mean, it's just a dumpster fire. We need to just look. It didn't improve your life in any way. We know that, right? Like it made our lives worse, and now it's on fire. We should just let it. We should put it on a boat and push it out to sea.
Oh, give it like a Viking burial or something.
Funeral.
Yeah, Viking funeral. Yeah.
You fought bravely, Twitter, but you lost.
Yeah.
Well, you wouldn't be surprised when they're going to war with half the people they had like a couple days ago. So
right,
no wonder they're losing.
I mean, does anybody win? Is there a side to pick where you could win?
Briar, are you going to be spending $8 a month on Twitter?
Hell no. I am keeping my account though because I'm going to watch this dumpster fire burn.
Yeah.
But Briar, your tweets will be suppressed, and you'll have to scroll for many pages to see your tweets.
I mostly just respond to your tweets at this point.
People are gonna have to scroll past all the $8 folks to find you in there, Brian.
I think Goth said this. He was like, I think Twitter's going to become like the DM place where you just these are your DMs are on Twitter.
Yeah,
and I could kind of see that happening, but like at the same time, without Twitter, it's a weird thought. Like where else do you go to Instagram?
Yeah, I don't like Instagram because I don't like Facebook. And
yeah,
Facebook's
exactly.
Kind of on fire too. So it's like, I think there's room for something new, right?
Twitter does fit a very specific thing where it's kind of like a forum, but you've got it's the forum of like everything. It's like you've signed up to the forum of everything in the world. And as much as we know Twitter has been bad for a lot of stuff, it's also been really good for like activism or all of the plights against this awful stuff that's happened in the world, like people finding out about it and coming together to fight against it.
That's a good point.
Yeah, all kinds of information.
News.
Yeah, I mean, the war in Ukraine, like seeing breaking information happen on Twitter because of Twitter. Yeah, I mean that's
you get
that's
stuff
wild.
like a day early on Twitter.
Yeah,
but also a lot of just complete bullshit. Just like
and you get you get the BS, you get it all. You get the crazies, you get the science, you get the art.
It's just up to you to figure out what's what.
Yeah, it's wild. Yeah, so like I don't know what the it's like. Is there just another Twitter that suddenly shows up? I don't think
people are going to Tumblr.
Yeah, Tumblr is getting resurrected because of this.
That's been a shit house for fucking 15 years.
Yeah, let's go back. I never really used Tumblr. Oh, there's also Mastodon, I think is what it's called. People are going over to.
Yeah, some sort of open source platform, I think. I actually don't know a whole lot about Mastodon.
I don't know much about it. All I've seen is people being like, it's really complicated to figure out how to use this thing.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I've heard.
That's not the good first impression.
It's wild. It is absolutely wild to witness this happen. I think what's even more strange. I think what's even more strange is witnessing Facebook have a severe tumble and Twitter at the same space of time,
but for different reasons, but both deservedly so.
Well, no, both
billionaires being dumbasses.
Billionaire aspirations causing massive fallout.
Reason, I guess.
Yeah. Over on Facebook, they're like, I want to create a metaverse, an imaginary land with all my friends. And he's like so happy about it and so into it. And everyone's like, this looks really bad.
Well, Apple also cut
the new one looked pretty good, actually.
Their knees off when they restricted advertising on Apple platforms, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of their revenue just got cut right out of Facebook, in a day. When
they still make a boatload of money, though. I mean, they
still do, but
Instagram prints them money. Well, that's the thing. It's you got to have constant growth. Keep on constantly gassing up everything.
Capitalism.
Eventually, you're going to hit the ceiling and you're going to break your knees from all that weight you're trying to emphasize on getting bigger and bigger.
What if we just didn't do that?
Okay, I do have to say though, with the meta stuff, it's super weird to dump billions and billions and billions on something that a lot of people are kind of like, I don't know, man. But the newer stuff, which is way over, it was like 1,500, right, for a new Meta Quest or something like that.
Oh yeah, but that's like a developer thing. I don't think they're really targeting that at consumers.
It was a pro thing, isn't it? Isn't it pro?
Yeah. But I think they mean it. They don't mean pro like a PlayStation Pro. They mean pro more like a MacBook Pro, where this is really more for hardcore
Okay, so I'm just saying that some of the stuff that I did watch in that actually does look pretty cool.
It does look pretty cool.
Yeah,
But we got a PlayStation headset coming out for $550. That's still outside of most people's reach. So $1,500 is ridiculous.
Yeah. I guess what I'm saying is between the two billionaire aspirations, one is sinking Twitter, the other is actually trying to make something that a lot of people are going, but there is some merit in the idea of what if you could see your facial expressions in a meeting across the world in a 3D environment. That is actually really cool. If you could have
is cool.
The finite ability of an avatar express your emotion.
But nobody wants to put that
VR
thing on in a meeting.
No, but see, here's the thing. That VR chat, it actually reads all of your stuff, and they're trying to make it get hyper precise on your facial expressions with an avatar.
They're doing it right now. Furries are doing it. Do you know furries? Furries are the peak of all technical advancement. I watched a video where they are doing precise sign language in VR chat, and now deaf people can talk to each other with sign language.
Yeah.
No, seriously, sign language. They're doing sign language in VR chat precisely with perfect finger movements.
Wow.
In VR chat.
That's
really
awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
Porn points the way to the newest technology, right?
Embrace the furries.
Furries are pushing things forward, man.
I don't trust that thing is clean. That costume is clean. I'm not touching the furries. I'm not embracing the furries. I'm not touching the furries. I'll observe the furries from far behind the wall.
Yeah, you need a glass wall.
Yeah. Look,
no splashback.
I don't know. I don't want to hug the furries. I don't want to touch the suit.
Briar's in a strict no hugging furry situation.
I am a little bit of a germaphobe. I don't know if you know that. A little bit.
Oh man. So pretty wild.
Pretty wild.
Watts, I saw a tweet. I can't remember it verbatim, but something to the fact that you had a tree branch fall on your roof, did a little bit of damage.
Yes.
After calling 8 roofing contractors, you finally got one call back, which I'm sure gave you plenty of negotiating room to get a good price, right?
The roofer is fine and great.
Yeah. But
so what happened was there was a
right?
massive storm that happened in Seattle. There was 150,000 homes without power. There's still people who don't have power. Patrick, our own Holtzman, was without power for 2 days.
You can't take the power away from Holtz.
Power was taken away from Holtz. He was gone. He was out there.
This is illegal.
Ours was only gone for an hour, which we were very lucky about.
Oh, that's nice.
But yeah, so and this was the worst I'd seen it. It was I wish I could post the video of the street, but I don't want to post the street on the internet. But there was just like massive branches in our yard, and then the whole street was covered in massive branches and fallen trees and all sorts of bad stuff. So we were hearing things on the roof, and initially we were like, pine cones. We have a lot of pine cones, probably pine cones, yeah. And then we heard big crashes, and we're like, that's maybe not a pine cone. That's
Yikes.
maybe not a pine cone. So it was a Saturday it was a Friday night that this happened. Saturday that I started calling everyone. So there was minimal people that were actually open. So I'm calling everyone, leaving messages, and yeah, one person got back to me. Another person did answer the phone, but they weren't able to come out until Monday. And I was like, a feeling I might need something done like now because there's holes.
Wait, you got a guy to come out on Monday after you called him on Saturday?
I got him to come out on Saturday after I called him on Saturday. He came like 2 hours later.
Okay,
and
me and you have way different roofers.
Yeah, he came up, took pictures of everything. It's like 4 holes on the roof. He did emergency patching for it, and then set up an appointment for Tuesday to come and fix everything, fix the gutters, fix the roof, clean the gutters, and here's my roof.
Oh my god! Okay, so I had a branch fall through my roof in the summertime. I made about 7 or 8 phone calls, and it wasn't until phone call number 8. I had one guy who said, "How big is the house?" I said, "It's a shed." He's like, "No, I'm not doing that." But mostly people just didn't call me back until finally I got one guy call me back. He's like, "How many sheds do you have?" I'm like, "I got 2 sheds." He's like, "Well, one shed is kind of a small job. It really doesn't like pay for our time. So do you have another shed we can do?" I'm like, "I don't want 2 sheds done.
Hole in the roof shed?"
He's like, "All right, we'll send a guy out to do an estimate." Guy comes out to do an estimate, and he's poking around. He's like, "Well, the other shed needs to be done too. $3,500. I'm like, $3,500? I only need one shed done, and I can buy a brand new fucking shed for $3,500.
See, our quote for fixing the holes in our roof, also where the branches fell down, they pulled off shingles all the way down the roof. So replacing those shingles, fixing the gutters, because our gutters are also broken in like 4 places, and cleaning the roof and cleaning the gutters, $1,600.
Oh, God. I got to move to Seattle.
Question. Briar, question. How many forests are you surrounded by?
I'm in the suburbs. I am firmly planted in the suburbs of Central Connecticut.
No trees around there?
There's trees all over the place, but it's like single trees. They're ornamental trees that people have let grow for far too long. They're planted in the 70s, and now they're like way too tall, and like everybody's bitching about because we need like a guy to come and do tree work, which is also fucking way too expensive, and those guys don't call you back either.
I just want to point out that I think Washington is like a forest, right?
There's a lot of trees.
There's a lot of trees, right? It's like a forest. And even in Seattle, it's surrounded by an actual forest, right?
There's a lot of trees. Yeah, even in like the suburb areas where they've, destroyed a bunch of stuff, there's still a lot of trees, big trees.
Basically, it's an arborist paradise. Okay?
Yeah.
So
they're like, "Oh, your roof, there was a big storm, man. Everyone's dead." A lot of work for me.
Yeah, it'd be like roofing people coming on out.
So this is not just roofers for us. This is any tradesman in my area. It's like the only guy you can get to come that day is like a plumber. Everybody else is like, you have to make 17 phone calls. Most of them won't call you back. They all know that the rest of these jerks are not even like calling anybody back. So when you finally get somebody, they're like, "This is gonna cost you."
True. Yeah, I can see.
You have zero negotiating power at all because it was all you could do to just get somebody to show up and everybody start working. Watts had a guy go up on the roof and like do a temporary fix till Monday. I had my wife and my kids, and I go to the store and buy a tarp. And I had to put a tarp around my shed so that the rain didn't get in, and then put like bricks on top of it for 4 months while I waited for the guy to fucking have an open day.
Oh my God.
Right.
Yeah, that's different. That's a different experience.
I see one variable here. The person. Yeah. I think you need to manifest differently in your mind. I see you causing more issues mentally than need be, whereas Watts sees it as an easy solution. It's going to easily happen, and therefore it does. It easily happened within a day. Briar is experiencing trauma of things just not working out, and therefore it doesn't work out for like 4 months.
I mean, I make the call, and they don't call back. Like, do I just sound like an asshole? Like, oh, this dude's an asshole. I'm not
Are you
calling
being
this
really
dude.
nice? Hi.
Oh man, like I'm getting pulled over by the cops, and I got my hands on the fucking dashboard. My license, my registration's already there. I'm like, just trying not to get shot here. You know what I'm saying?
But are you
Like,
expecting to get arrested? Because if you're expecting to get arrested, you might be manifesting it.
You're manifesting, Briar. That's what's happening.
That's what's going on. Mm-hmm.
Just manifesting bad service by tradesmen.
By the way, Kal-El in chat pointed out that half of Washington is actually farmland. So maybe it's not quite the arborist paradise as I am proclaiming about Washington. I'm just thinking of Twilight movies. Okay.
There's still a lot of trees in the other places, so I'm sure there's enough work for
There's still more forest
to keep them all busy. I'm sure there's plenty.
I mean,
these vampires and werewolves somewhere, right?
Yeah. I actually got a call back from 3 other people this morning because I guess they said they were open on Saturday, but maybe they weren't actually open on Saturday.
Yeah.
So they've been calling me back on Monday. So
yeah, wait,
this is. I don't know. You can't really see that, right? That's
Yeah,
what it
you
looks
can
like.
see,
That's
huh?
my neighborhood.
Okay.
It's trees, right? It's the
it's
suburbs.
like individual
It's
trees.
and suburbs. Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that's obviously that was taken yesterday, so there's no leaves.
Well,
So it's hard to
that's the
tell.
thing why this was so bad is that
Yeah.
we hadn't really had high winds or anything since fall started. So all the trees still have all their leaves. So it got super
Oh,
windy
really?
and things just went down. Things went down.
We had a October snowstorm in 2010 in Connecticut that knocked out our power for a month statewide.
What the?
Because there was still a snowstorm when there's still leaves on the trees is bad news because all the trees fall down.
Yeah, all that weight, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. I'm glad we could talk about that because honestly, I feel better.
I feel like we figured out the problem.
Yeah.
You got to get that mind right, Briar. Start manifesting
I asked my wife, am I just making this up about my neighbor and the pumpkins? And she's like, no, that dude definitely showed up with bigger pumpkins than you got the next day. He is doing that on purpose.
Oh man.
I don't think so. I clearly can't be wrong in this situation.
Clearly, you just, begrudgingly.
It's not my fault.
Yeah. You just endlessly put upon Briar.
Yeah.
Rough. How are you going to manage
maybe
with your
your
4090?
neighbor knows that you're calling them, and he's calling them all right before to let them know that they shouldn't call you
scooped him.
back.
Yeah.
I should say though, he's got a plumber in his driveway right now, so I guess I shouldn't be.
You're hoping you're like, come on, septic tank, come on, septic. Rip up that lawn.
Well, he had. You want to hear bad shit happening to you? He had the sewer back up into his basement this summer.
Sewage.
Yeah, raw sewage. He said it was up to his knees.
Oh.
Good God.
And he just remodeled that basement.
Oh. How do you manifest that?
I don't know,
By
man.
getting bigger pumpkins the next day.
Bad living. Yeah, right? It's like and no wonder his grass grows so fucking green.
All that sewage.
You live on a bed of shit.
I guess you guys are made for each other. Yeah? That's why you're neighbors.
Well, after that
Attracted
happened to
each
him, I
other.
had a plumber come and put a check valve in, so that can't happen. Shit only flows one way in this house. And it's out.
Oh, man.
I called the plumber immediately. Hey, man.
This is an
How do I
emergency.
make sure shit never comes in to the house?
Yeah, no backflow type of situation.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Whew.
Man,
I feel so much better.
Yeah, I feel better too. I'm super excited for this week because Ragnarok's coming out.
It's Ragnarok week.
Yeah.
I have nothing
On
else to
Wednesday.
talk
The reviews
about.
have been good, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have nothing else to
the
say
first
about this
review I
game
saw-
aside from I'm super excited to play it.
Yeah.
What
the first
difficulty are you playing on?
I know from
First
previous
time
experience, like you don't do max difficulty because max difficulty is legitimately going to whoop your ass and you're gonna like have a rough experience.
Like annoying difficulty?
Annoying difficulty, yeah. Like you are
Okay.
supposed
Yeah,
to
that's fair.
understand the hardcore mechanics of the game and be really good at it if you're gonna attempt that difficulty, which is kind of nice, knowing that they're like, let's give it insane difficulty where
Yeah.
like
And that's the
you're-
one you can't change.
yeah, like if you're a gamer and you go to this difficulty, you're still going to regret it. That type of difficulty. Yeah. So one below that is what you should do if you're used to combat games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I remember when
I always just go with the normal. I never go harder difficulty like on the first playthrough. I
Yeah.
always go with the normal. And sometimes if I just want to know how the story ends, but I'm like kind of getting a little sick of the combat, down to easy we go. We're just gonna buzz right through this.
I just find that in combat games, like if you play on, you have to find the right difficulty because if it's too easy, you end up not having to use the combat, and then you
Mhm.
see like half of it, so it makes it less fun because you're not engaging with all of the combat.
That's how
That's
I
true.
feel. If I'm not being
Yeah.
challenged enough in a game, like I can lose interest pretty fast. If it's like if the combat if I'm just like strolling through things and everything's dying immediately, like I want at least some sort of like, oh, I need to figure out how to use my proper toolkit to get through this area. But also on that max difficulty, it like punishes you so hard that it has the reverse effect to where it's like, oh, this isn't fun. We can't
Yeah.
can't do this.
You
now.
know what? I hate difficulty settings.
Yeah.
They annoy me. Yeah, I hate them. I want to play the game created the way that the creators have made it, and that's what I
Oh
want.
well,
to
what if they make a
experience.
game that they created so that you can enjoy it any way you want to? What if that was their vision?
I just don't like difficulty settings. I like loading up the game and I'm playing the game the way that you made it, and everyone else is playing it the same way.
Let's
That's
say
just-
you're a
that's not
journalist for a
fun.
prominent gaming outlet. What do you pick?
The hardest difficulty, I think. Right away. I understand if you're trying to review a game, I understand what you would not do that because it's gonna take you like twice as long to get through that freaking review cycle.
Yeah, I know. What a weird balance to have to figure out.
You ain't got time for all that.
I guess that's why FromSoft games have that kind of special magic for a lot of people, because there is no dumbing it down or over cranking it into insane difficulty. It's like, here's what it is, take it or leave it,
Yeah.
type of thing, right?
It is what it is.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what to do with choice. Okay, if you present me choice, I don't know what to do. Just give me the thing the way you made it.
I just choose normal and then adjust from there.
Briar's going down from there as each beer increases.
Right.
The difficulty level gets dropped.
Let's make this a little easier. Well, there was a game that Trials of Arise that I played. I can't remember if I played that 2 years ago, a year ago. It was an RPG, and I just found the combat was just so fucking repetitive and boring and so common. And I just got to the point where I just want to see how this ends because the story is batshit crazy. That I put it on easy and I just like blew through the rest of the game just to see where it was gonna go because I wasn't having fun with the combat at all. I just wanted to see where the story went. So like
if combat's not fun, there's no reason for it to be harder. Right?
That's an interesting insult.
Kenna Bridge of Spirits. I started on there. I think theirs was like 4 levels of difficulty. It was like hard, a little bit hard, normal, and easy. And I think I started at like the third, not the top one, but like the third one. And I went down to normal at one point, and they said, "Oh, it's not as much fun because the combat is now like there's
common.
no." What's that?
You said you called the combat common a few minutes ago, and I was like,
it was common combat. It was too common.
That's an interesting insult for combat.
Not unique.
Yeah, this is pretty common. Common combat.
It wasn't as fun anymore, so I popped it back up. But
yeah.
You also never know what the difficulty is going to affect, right? Like in some games, it just makes enemies spongier. Whereas in Kena is a good example, actually. They change quite a lot about the boss fights on different difficulty settings. Yeah, like how fast they do stuff. Obviously the damage that they do differs quite heavily.
Right. And
yeah, so you never know.
Sequel to that game coming out, man, that was good.
I did love that game. The game was great.
Yeah. Man, so Ragnarok. I'm excited.
Yeah, Ragnarok. Is that coming out Wednesday? Thursday?
Wednesday.
What's today? Wednesday.
Yeah.
And I've seen a bunch of reviews. The first review, unfortunately, that I saw was not very kind. They said it's like, I think I had enough of this the last time around, but everything I've seen since then has been pretty glowing. So I'm looking forward to it a lot.
It's
I've
like
been trying to
tomorrow
stay
night,
away from
right?
any spoilers, though. I don't want to see any
Same.
video about it. So I'm
Yeah.
Yeah, I
It's
don't want
actually
spoilers.
why I look at Skill Up's reviews, just because, like, if there's a game I'm really interested in and I want to watch a review before I play it, he is very strict on not spoiling stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
I
he's
know
pretty good.
nothing's gonna get spoiled. I think was it IGN that spoiled something? I don't remember.
it.
There was
fucking Fran.
there was
Can't believe
someone.
it.
I don't. Okay, it was IGN. Yeah. So there was. I did hear everyone being like, "Do not watch the IGN one. It's like you may not notice that it's that big of a spoiler, but it is a big spoiler. So
Mm.
Okay.
stay it away."
Interesting.
Oh, they showed you the Thor fight right away. Yeah, you don't want to see that. You know Thor's in the game, but you don't want to see the actual.
I haven't actually
battle
seen any
with Thor.
video of this game at all.
Okay, good. Yeah, keep it that way.
Yeah.
It's
guys-
Skill
gonna
Ups was
be
great. It's just
nice,
like I'm
fresh.
on.
It unlocks
Ragnarok
tomorrow,
mode.
right? If you're like midnight tomorrow, so if you're
Yeah.
going in hot.
Is it midnight? Midnight tomorrow?
Well, Eastern time for you.
Cool.
So yeah.
Did you hear the reasoning why it's coming out on Wednesday? What people were suspecting was the reason. So
That's
wanna
a
guess?
religious holiday for Thor.
Something
there
with
is
voting.
something about like
Thor
Wednesday.
Thursday. He likes
Wednesday
to drink on
has,
Thursday,
like-
so I didn't want to release the game.
Something to do with the mythology or something, but there is a blood moon happening on Tuesday
right.
night in
Yeah.
the wee morning
The
of
blood
Wednesday
moon
night.
rises. Link, the blood moon rises.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. It's Odin's Day. And also it's a blood moon. And there was a video I watched that went through a bunch of things, and it was like these events that happen in the mythology of, Ragnarok means that Ragnarok is coming. So I was like, wow. Okay.
That's what
I was
happens
like,
when Elon Musk
Wednesday's
takes
a
over
weird
Twitter.
day.
Ragnarok.
Ragnarok.
Yeah.
That's true. That's a good point. Yeah.
Meta and Twitter going, they are Ragnarok's coming. My God. Huh. Cool.
Yeah. Wednesday's a weird day. Who releases a game on Wednesday?
Yeah, a bit strange.
Yeah.
But 2022 is strange.
Yeah.
Strange everything.
What? Everything comes out Friday now, right?
Friday or Tuesday.
Tuesday or Fridays.
Tuesday used to be the big one. Now I feel like Friday's gotten bigger than Tuesday.
Or if it's a Japanese game, Thursday, because it's Friday in Japan.
Right.
But never Wednesday.
Never Wednesday.
Stay away from hump day.
Fuck Wednesday. Yeah. I don't even like people who are born on Wednesdays. I hate it.
Oh, really? That's a weird fact to know, to carry around. I guess it's not weird, but
What day you born on?
yeah, like what day that was when because it changes every year, like the date.
Oh, you
Yeah.
can tell with Wednesday people.
Turns out I'm a Wednesday person. No. Anything else happening?
So we got some Final Fantasy 16 information.
Yeah.
They revealed that it's going to be a PlayStation exclusive for 6 months, and then after that, it's not an exclusive anymore. So people will have to wait significantly less time than
Yeah.
usual to get their hands on that. And they also announced that the game's main story will be about 35 to 40 hours to complete, and then for the extra content, players can expect 70 hours.
Okay.
And then they also said that New Game Plus has stronger enemies.
Okay.
35 to 40? I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah, that's a nice campaign.
Yeah, it's not where I go, oh, God, that's really long.
Yeah, right.
It's
If too long.
It's a good spot. And it's
It-
a solid chunk for you to bite into.
It is funny how like if it's too short, you feel like I really not enough time to get into the world. But then if it's too long, you're like Elden Ring long. Oh boy. Even though it was fantastic, it feels scary.
I can't wait. I'm still waiting for Elden Ring DLC. I can't wait.
There's like
Yeah.
discussions and rumblings about it.
I heard
What,
Game Awards.
rumblings?
Maybe we
Yeah.
might get a trailer.
That would make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That would make sense.
Wasn't there something about Diablo 4 being rumored to possibly
Oh, really?
have something happen with Game Awards? I don't know
Am
for
I allowed
sure.
to buy Blizzard stuff yet? Or are they still on the you can't buy stuff from them list?
I don't know. I mean, people are playing Overwatch too.
It's it was actually funny because I was thinking the same thing, and then as I was just looking through Twitter, I saw that someone was talking about an interview experience that they had, or like I guess like a poaching experience they had, and they were talking about how this person reached out to them about a senior position at a gaming company. They didn't name the gaming company, and he was like, they were really rude to me. They didn't call me back, and he's like, remember, they reached out to me. I was here minding my business, and this person's trying to get me for a senior role, and they were just very rude, very unprofessional, and they were like, "Screw it, it's Blizzard." So I'm like, of course.
I don't feel like gamers really hold grudges about this kind of stuff. I don't even know if most people even care about it, but I'm the kind of guy that holds a grudge. I don't know if you've realized that. I didn't drink Coors beer for 25 years because
Silver
they lobbied
Bullet?
against gay marriage. Yeah, no way, wouldn't touch it. And associated products like Blue Moon, wouldn't touch it. I love Blue Moon.
That's
and then
good.
but then my wife told me actually they changed ownership and they have been like lobbying for gay marriage for like 15 years. Oh,
Okay, I'm coming back.
Really?
Why don't you go hand me a banquet beer, hon?
Take the banquet, please.
Yeah. I don't know. Apparently, Coors is now one of the most socially responsible companies.
Oh, that's great to hear.
Nice.
That's
turnaround.
I really appreciate when a company can do a turnaround. Like that's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't even care if it's like greenwashing or social whitewashing or whatever they call it, or as long as the net positive is a positive one, or the net output is a positive one, I don't really give a fuck, right? Like, yeah, they're probably doing it so that they don't look like shit. And people don't like not drink their beer or drink their their soda or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, but if they're giving a lot of money to good causes, then hey,
right?
That's net positive.
Yeah.
You know, I won't go to Chick-fil-A. I won't go to Hobby. I mean, I was never gonna go to Hobby Lobby. What the fuck do they even sell there?
Hobby Lobby? Thought you were about to say hot topic for a second.
So they sell fabric and hate. That's all I know.
Damn, Hobby Lobby. Hate is a hobby, right? For some people, it's a hobby.
It is. Look at Twitter.
Certainly is.
Yeah.
Certainly is.
You guys want to hear a funny story?
Yes.
This is a little off topic. So I had heard somebody telling me that a man had just emerged from his Y2K bunker.
Okay.
For real?
Okay, Y2K. Yeah, if anybody doesn't know Y2K, you might not have been alive. Y2K was the big scare in the late 90s that basically, I'm not a computer scientist, but basically all the software had been written up to that point with only the last 2 digits of the year. So the big fear was that the world was going to shut down because when the clock struck, the year 2000, all the none of the software that was running like banks or anything was going to be able to handle it. People were throwing millions of dollars at fixing this problem, but nobody thought it was going to be ready.
Old mainframe software, they only wrote it so it would be 2 digits for the year, so it would roll back to 1900, and they thought this was going to actually
when they were
break the
writing
world.
that stuff in the 70s, they didn't think they'd still be using it.
No, their justification was literally, they're like, well, someone else is going to fix this in 10 years or so let's just put this for now because there's a memory limit. Not knowing it would stay there.
For the most part, it was much ado about nothing. It's just like anything else. It was just being like, widely reported by the press to get, more commercials on the show. But so I researched this a little bit, and a dude actually he went into a bunker for 14 years. So this story is a little bit old.
Wow.
But
that's a long time.
Yeah, he was a Canadian man, and he spent 14 years in a bunker because he was afraid of the Y2K. They call it Y2K virus in this. That's exactly what it was.
They were calling the end of the world.
He had stocked it with food, and it was just him in there. So he spent the whole 14 years alone. But the thing is, right, is going into Y2K, it wasn't like COVID, where it's like you're going to catch it.
No, everything was going to shut down.
It wasn't like a nuclear bomb where you had to beat the bomb to your bunker, right? If shit was going to happen for Y2K, Like you kind of like, oh, okay, looks like it's gonna get real bad. I'm gonna go in my bunker. You know,
wow.
It wasn't like, why did he go in there?
I think the idea was to avoid pandemonium before pandemonium comes to you. You know, if like there was some crazy mob, you know, like
but I mean,
killing everything.
It doesn't escalate. It's not the purge. It doesn't like at when the clock strikes 8 o'clock. It doesn't like all of a sudden pandemonium just
totally
ripping out.
But this person spent 14 years in a vault, so they clearly weren't like they weren't weighing the scales on like the reality of this stuff and when is it actually time to go into the vault. Yeah,
maybe this person's a little bit suspect to begin with.
Well, I mean, if everything was going to fail and nukes were going to go off and bombs and stuff, you'd probably want to be in the bunker at midnight, when it goes to 2000.
Yeah, I guess part of the theory is that, the things controlling nuclear bombs would suddenly not be able to control the nuclear bombs anymore and just auto explode. So auto detonate would happen around the world, Yep. That is wild. Can you imagine forcing you're like, it's not like someone put you there, like you went to prison or something. You said, I'm going to go in there, and then you find out 14 years have passed, and you missed all this stuff that happened in the world. And, like, what's your emotion at that point? Do you have, like, insane regret? Or do you look fondly on your bunker for the 14 years of, like, not knowing any of the stuff that was happening in the world?
Oh, maybe now, like with COVID, everybody's like, "Fuck this! I'm going back to the bunker."
Time to be bunker, bitch. Deuces.
I would probably be happy that my bunker sustained me for 14 years. I'd go, cool. Guess we know it works. That's nice.
I don't know. I'd get really bored and lonely, I think.
Yeah, of course.
I couldn't do 14 months, I don't think. I don't think I could do 14 weeks.
Imagine all the video games that suddenly exist. That you could then be like,
that'd be great.
You could restock your bunker for the next 14 years of content to go through.
It's true.
Like, I'll see you guys
what did
in
he miss
2030.
though, that 14 years? Like, what was awesome that happened in that 14 years?
A lot happened.
The games?
I mean,
he completely missed 9/11. Had no idea about that. I mean, he was from Canada, so I guess
of course there was a bunch of bad stuff that he missed, but like the good stuff and the good entertainment that he missed was like pretty substantial.
Yeah. Also, being outside, that's pretty nice for 14 years.
Yeah.
Human contact,
Sunshine.
That's cool. Hugs.
Do you have like
high fives? I love
high fives. Do you have like a deposit
of
do you have a deposit of vitamin D or something for the lack of sunlight?
Oh, there's a picture of this dude and he didn't look great.
Oh, maybe not vitamin.
Well, yeah. I mean, he looks like the kind of guy who just came out of a bunker after 14 years.
That is wild. I wonder how many if there's one person that's done it, there's got to be like another person or maybe a handful of others that are like deep in the mountains, dwarf style.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and like if for Y2K, there's probably for other things that have happened too, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't there like a movie with Brendan Fraser about a family who thought there was going to be a nuclear attack, so they went underground for a bunch of years and then came back out?
Encino Man. That's the plot of Encino Man.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm joking.
Oh, I misunderstood that movie. Yeah, Blast from the Past. Yeah. Encino
Man. Yeah.
Yeah, bunkers.
Bunkers. And badass.
I always wanted a bunker. I thought it'd be kind of a cool thing to have, a bunker, right? Like, especially one that's like separate from the house.
Yeah, remember I told you about this? But in Minnesota, there was a bunker that we had.
Yeah, that's right. You had
it was an actual bomb shelter that was deep into the mountains. There was a side of a cliff because we were next to a quarry. And this thing was detached from the house, and you would go into it, and it was like this metal door, go down this long hallway, and you would get to earth temperature. You know, it's like 50-something degrees down there permanently.
Wow. That's not joking around. This isn't like a little thing that somebody dug in the backyard. This is real.
This is a legit bomb shelter from like the 50s or whatever, when they were actually scared of an actual nuclear bomb hitting. So they were like,
how do you get air in there, like fresh air?
There was like this complex filtration system.
Wow.
That they had installed.
Do you know who built it? Like your parents didn't build it.
No, they bought the house in
And it
the
was already there?
90s. Yeah, and it all came with it, and it was like, cool, look at this bunker
That
in
is
here. And then
Did your parents let you play in it? Like, were you allowed to go in it?
Yeah, for sure. And then they would joke around about how like this is my bedroom. And I was like, I don't want to be in the bunker. Jesus, it's terrifying.
Until you're a teenager, then you're like, just leave me alone. I'll go to the bunker.
You could invite your friends over and scare them by locking them in the bunker.
Yeah, I'd be like,
alarms.
I'll see you in 14 years.
That's exactly what you want to do to a teenager.
Yeah, enjoy the beans.
Lock him in the bunker. Oh, I'll see you when you turn 20.
Yeah, so wonder what the per capita is of crazy people staying in a bunker.
Yeah. They're out there.
Since Y2K.
Yeah. So any other gaming news that we want to talk about?
I mean, Sonic came out today.
There's a new Sonic?
Sonic Frontiers. Yeah.
Can I play a long lineage of bad Sonic games?
Can I play it on my Steam Deck?
I think you can.
Yeah?
Probably.
I think so. I think there's a PC version, right?
I think so. Yeah, Sonic Frontiers came out today. The reviews are definitely mixed. What it sounds like is that a lot of things are not done super great, but the bones that they have could actually be a really good 3D Sonic if they fleshed it out more.
Good
bones. If they came out with another one.
Well, it's like just the colors of the. You know what the problem is? You know what I'm blaming? You know what I'm going to blame? The Switch. I'm blaming the Switch.
Wow.
Because the graphics of this game are bad. Well, not bad, but they're made to work on the
Switch.
It's an open world game on the Switch.
Oh boy.
Where you're moving very fast.
I mean, they made The Witcher 3 work on the Switch. They can make it happen.
It's alien technology.
The environments just miss so much from them with it having to be on the Switch. Like the detail is.
Game was just weird from the start when you first saw like Sonic running around like this real world environment. It's like when Sonic kissed a real girl. It's just like, what are we doing here? This is getting crazy. We're just mixing our stuff in too much,
Yeah.
Let's keep Sonic in the Green Hill Zone. Like everybody was happy when Sonic stayed in Sonic Land.
Yeah, he's just
hanging out with Tails and the enchilada, and
he's got a pocket full of rings. Just
yeah, man,
hit something.
Why do we gotta put him in like a real life looking world?
I don't know. And it's funny because in Sonic Frontiers, there's these little pockets that are kind of completely remade classic arenas that you would play Sonic in. And that is apparently the best part of the game. Well, one of the best parts.
Who would have thought?
It's you go because you're in the open world and it's like gray. There's not much in the open world. Like there's not a lot of details. And you go into here and it's like bright. Everything's a different color. Everything's themed differently. The open world just doesn't have that.
You would think like if they're gonna like really commit to making a good Sonic game, now's the time. Strike while the iron is hot. It's like after Street Fighter the movie came out, you really want to come out with a good Street Fighter game. Really capture the imagination of all these new fans who made with the movie.
Yeah,
that sounds logical. Street Fighter the movie sucked. Never mind.
I mean, yeah, at least the Sonic movies are good, right? At least the Sonic.
They are good. They are good by most accounts, right?
Yeah,
there was a boss fight that looked really cool in the Sonic Frontiers game where it was like you rode on the tail of the monster. So you're doing classic Sonic, running on the tail. And that is how the boss fight plays out. You get close to them, you do damage. So that looked really cool. It was like, that is a Sonic boss that is created well for a Sonic game. But then there's others that are just really bad. So
wasn't there something about like the people who made Sonic Mania, like were now upset with Sega for some reason? Because Sonic Mania was fantastic, right?
I don't remember.
No, not ringing any bells.
I don't recall all the Sonics. I played a few of them.
Sonic Mania came out right at the beginning of the Switch generation, and it was a 2D Sonic game like the old Genesis games, but it was a brand new game.
I did not play that. Maybe I should play that.
It was fantastic. It was very fun.
Yeah. Is it only on the Switch?
I don't believe so. I don't really know, though, for sure.
Okay.
I'd have to look it up. I bought it on the Switch because it just seemed like it belonged there.
Yeah.
It's whenever they make the 3D Sonic, it just goes off the rails. Remember when they turned him into a werewolf? What the fuck was going on there? Who is smoking the crack over in Sega? What is happening?
The werewolf? I don't remember this either.
Oh yeah, yeah. What was the one where he was a werewolf?
I'm like a peripheral Sonic fan. Like
I played them as a kid.
Exactly. I played it on the
that's
Sega, the original Sega Genesis. I enjoyed that. I have not kept up with Sonic because they lost the console war, man. And now they just
How dare you son of a bitch.
What happened? And I was just like, all right, Sonic, I'll see you later. All right, I'm gonna head out, Sonic, you know.
Lost the console war. God damn. I'm talking about holding grudges. Jesus.
I'm just stating that this is what happened, and my interest in Sonic slowly faded over time.
I don't consider it a Sonic Unleashed that he turned into a. So how much? Let's mine the depths of Hadoken's knowledge. When did he kiss a real girl? Because that happened in one of those early 2000s 3D Sonics.
Yeah, Briar's a connoisseur on all detailed Sonic. He knows everything.
No, I haven't played any of them. Sonic Colors was pretty fun. My kids, I bought that for my kids, and I ended up playing a little bit of it. It was pretty good. That was an Xbox 360 game.
Yeah.
Or Xbox 2, sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, aside from Sonic, is there anything else of interest this week?
Well, there was the news that I don't know, there's not much to really take from it, but it was that EA has signed a 3-game deal with Marvel.
Oh.
So that's interesting. One of them's definitely Iron Man, which, you know, Anthem.
There's already an Iron Man game.
Anthem, right? Yeah.
No, there's a Iron Man VR game.
There is.
Just put out
VR
another
doesn't
update
count.
for it.
VR does not count.
Sorry,
It's like saying there's an Iron Man mobile game. It's
Yeah.
like you're telling me the same thing.
Exactly right.
You're like, yeah, I believe you. I believe
They did that on mobile already. And then everyone's like, and?
But when I heard this, I was like, are you going to be using some of that Anthem flying stuff to put onto an Iron Man game? Because, I mean, it would make sense. They did that.
Yeah. Unfortunately, they have murdered all of the Anthem team and buried them in a deep, deep grave.
Yeah, EA is a tough one, man. It'd be like, EA is doing 3 games of this thing and be like, ooh, this is a wild card. It's like Russian roulette here.
EA, the company that had the Star Wars license for several years and put out, 2 games?
Yeah, 2 Battlefronts, and then they're like, we're not going to make these anymore because, it's like...
Because Star Wars says we're driving their brand into the ground.
Loot boxes and stuff.
Maybe they'll just give them all to Respawn because they did a great Star Wars.
No, I want them to continue working on their new Star Wars game. Actually, I think is getting close to coming out. Right, that should be out in 2023.
Yeah,
the next Respawn Star Wars game.
Oh.
Yeah. And I like that game, and I can't wait to see what a second effort looks like.
Good game.
Because I like that game, but I had complaints, but I really liked it. So
I really enjoyed
Assassin's Creed 1. I couldn't wait for Assassin's Creed 2 because there's so much room for improvement.
Yeah, story as well. Interesting story stuff that they were connecting with the Star Wars universe. Yep.
Yeah, I like that actor too that they have playing the Jedi.
Yeah,
he's cool. Shameless.
Yep. Yeah. Well. Yeah. Anything else?
Real quick, did you guys see the announcement of the PSVR 2 at $550? Kind of wondering what you guys had thought. What you guys thought about that?
I don't know yet. Like I've been on this. I'm gonna get the PSVR the PS5 VR solution, and now I'm like, well, am I? I don't know.
It's a lot of money.
For me, I would have to see multiple games that I'm very, very, very interested in.
Yeah.
Because VR is kind of a thing that's just like, things just don't really come out on VR at the moment.
Yeah, that's true. Also, like, as a content creator, like, it's almost impossible to make VR content. It's just
difficult
in general. Complete nightmare.
Yeah.
The capture on that's like useless, right?
Then plus you're trying to, how do you read chat? Like, you got to figure out a solution for that, and it's just like, it's a mess. It's fun though, because you look like an idiot and you're
right. How many games did they announce that are coming with it?
They announced a bunch of games.
Right.
Let's see if I can find the list right now. But what I was really disappointed was the Astrobot was not among them, and I think that was like the most killer app for the first PlayStation VR.
Mm-hmm.
Is the first Astrobot game? Well, I guess technically that'd be. I think it was called Astrobot Rescue Mission. So I'm just gonna stop there.
Okay.
And it was fantastic. It was a 3D platformer that you basically were the camera, and like you could like unlock all sorts of secrets and routes and interact with the world by just moving your head around. But it was like you play it by sitting. It was an amazing game. It was, and then Astrobot obviously came as a PS5.
It's like
What's that one called?
Like an augmented 3D platformer. Like you're looking at the screen and then moving your head actually unlocks additional stuff too. Is that what it's like?
No, imagine you're like you are the camera in the sky, and just like as you move around, so the camera doesn't follow your character. You are the camera, so like you kind of
got it. Okay,
watch your camera, and then like
interesting.
If you need to like jump and go around a mountain, you kind of like lean over a little bit so you can see around the mountain, and then also there'd be like a secret back there because you lean back there to find it.
Cool.
It was a really good game. Some people said it was like VR's Mario 64 moment. That clearly was not true because it didn't happen. Like VR still feels very fringe.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a high quality platforming game.
Yeah, that's the issue that I have right now. Is like it still feels kind of fringe, and that's why I'm not sure if I'm like, okay, let's spend this amount of money on a new VR set. It's like a PS5. Yeah, there's going to be titles I definitely want to play on that, even though they're few and far between at this point. But it's still going to be things are mainstream. Like I want to play that. With the VR, I don't feel that yet. Yeah.
I think this price point is a bit of a miss, honestly. I think it's just too high. I mean, it's definitely, the value seems like it's there for the hardware, because the hardware they're selling is very good. It's got two, full-fledged VR controllers. It's got a really nice headset with high resolution. It's got inside out. The cameras are on the headset, so you don't have to set up like external cameras or anything. It's all included. It just takes one USB cable to plug in from the headset to the PlayStation. And, maybe if we get real lucky, somebody will like figure out a way to make that also compatible with PCs, which would be dope. But I mean, we'll see.
Yeah.
Like the hardware definitely seems awesome, but like you guys said, if the software is not super exciting, the PSVR was the best-selling headset, VR headset up to that point.
Yeah,
but
so
it was a lot cheaper.
Yeah, this ties in with the meta situation. Like they're dumping, was it 10 billion it's some insane number every quarter. They're dumping a bunch of money into VR, and it's still not like taking hold in the sense that it warrants 10 billion every quarter. I don't know the exact number. So I think that's also coloring it a bit, even though the PlayStation side is clearly going to be meant for games and more curated and all that. It's just, again, it's like you said, fringe. It hasn't become mainstream yet to where it's like, this is a must-buy, a must-have device in your house.
Yeah. I feel like that platform needs to stick around for a little longer too, so that like there's enough buy-in, there's enough of a user base to actually make a good game for it. Because most of the bigger games that have been made for VR at all have been funded by, the platforms, either by Oculus or by Valve or by PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
It's not big enough to stand on its own and make a AAA game for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah. I think your reaction is pretty common though. Like, and that's not good. That's not good news, right?
When it costs the exact amount, or actually more than the console itself, it's a tough sell.
That is a tough sell for an accessory.
Exactly. Not every game is going to support this. In fact, very few games are going to support this expensive accessory that could be a life-changing gaming experience, but nothing out there right now is telling me that I have to buy this. It's more like, it's nice to have. I mean, the PlayStation 5 isn't a have-to-buy thing either, but you get what I'm saying. If you're a gamer, like, it needs to be a must-play game, and I don't see that yet when it comes to the VR stuff. I mean, you've said there is must-play things, Briar, and I respect that, and I would like to experience that, but it's definitely not like I'm going to go grind 100-hour experience in a VR headset type of thing.
I think as an enthusiast, like it's amazing to play some of this stuff, and I'm glad I have played it. But I also respect that the buy-in is extreme.
Yeah,
to get into it, you know, and like I wouldn't go buy a PSVR right now because it's on a dead platform. So like when you look at like what the platforms are, the Oculus is pretty nice. It's like $350 and standalone, but it's not that powerful. PSVR 2, I mean, that's a lot of money right there. That's the next cheapest option. It's $1,000, $1,050. If you can even get it, because you're gonna have to pre-order this from PlayStation themselves. It's not gonna be in stores initially.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
To be continued. Our VR
discussions.
I'm sure you pre-ordered already, right, Briar?
I haven't. I have the Steam VR, so I'm like, you know,
yeah.
And I'm not that big of a Horizon fan that's got me that excited. So we'll see. There's still time to pre-order.
Yeah.
Plenty.
All right. Well, is that the episode? Have we discussed all things?
I think so. Next week, I wonder what we'll be talking about.
Nothing about God of War.
Nope.
Probably not. Probably roofing.
Yeah, I'm probably roofing.
More roofing discussions.
Exciting.
Roofing adventures.
Social media platform implosion discussions.
East versus West Coast roofing contractors.
Also, Briar's lack of manifesting quality things in his life. It's a problem that he's got to fix, you know?
We're going to teach Briar how to manifest. That's the next episode. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, the secret? You have me read the secret?
All right. Thanks for watching, everyone. We appreciate it. Shout out to our Patreon members and our Twitch subs for supporting the shows. Daylight savings happened, so if you watch live, things will be changing, especially if you're in a different country.
And today was just a one-off time adjustment.
Yeah.
Unless we change it for the future, but
yeah. Briar had to go shoot some horses in in the barn.
As one does, you know.
No.
It's not like it's a Wednesday or anything.
All right. Thanks for watching. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, guys. Bye.